She thought he was just a poor, crippled beggar. She fed him every day from the little she had, never asking for anything in return. But one morning, everything changed. Who was this man really? Why did he keep coming back to her? And what secret had he been hiding all along? Sit back and find out as we dive into this shocking and heart-touching story of kindness, hidden riches, and the love that grew between a roadside cook and a man no one truly knew. This is the story of a poor girl named Anna and a crippled beggar known as Jojo. Now, Papa Jojo was a cripple, or at least, that's what people thought. In truth, he was a billionaire, a man who owned great buildings and fat bank accounts. But he disguised himself in rags and pain, sitting on the streets of Lagos with his bent legs and empty cup, begging like someone forgotten by the world. And Anna? Anna. Everyone laughed at her. She was a young woman, just 24 years old. She sold food in a small wooden shop by the roadside in Lagos. Her stall was made of old planks and rusty iron sheets. It stood under a large mango tree, where many people gathered to eat and rest. The place had no name, just smoke, steam, and the scent of real food. Anna didn't have much. Her slippers were worn out, and her faded dress had patches in different corners, patched by her own hands, using thread she borrowed from a neighbor. But Anna always smiled. Even when she was tired, even when her bones ached from standing all day, she greeted every single customer with kindness. "Good afternoon, sir." "You're welcome," she would say, her voice soft but sure. She woke up very early each morning, sometimes before the roosters crowed. She would cook rice, beans, and yam porridge over a firewood stove. Her hands moved fast, but her heart was heavy with silence. Because Anna had no one. Her parents had died when she was young, like rain that didn't finish wetting the ground. She lived alone in a small, dark room not far from her shop. There was no electricity, no running water, just 4 cracked walls, a thin mattress, and her dreams. And yet, she kept going. Anna had no job after school. She had learned catering in a small training center, but there were no jobs in the city. No restaurants looking for young cooks without experience. And so, she built her own little space, a tiny eatery with no menu, no logo, no uniform, just her food. Just her smile. Every day, people came. Boda Wasio, the Kiki driver. Mama Beezy, the woman who sold vegetables. Even Dunladi, the security guard from the next junction. They all sat under her mango tree to eat. But there was one man who came differently. His name was Jojo, a cripple, or so everyone believed. He wore torn clothes. He had a rusted wheelchair. His hair was gray, his beard uncombed, and his face always looked tired. He never paid. Every day, he came and stretched out his hand. "Please, just a plate, my daughter," he would whisper. And Anna? She gave him food. Not leftovers. Not scraps. She gave him a full plate. He would eat silently, then nod and wheel away. Then, the next day, he would come back. And Anna would feed him again. Day after day. Month after month. Soon, her neighbors started to talk. "Anna, this is business, oh," said Mama Chinidu, the woman who fried akara. "You can't be feeding a beggar every day and expect to grow. Not so profit go day run from you," another added. "Abby, you want to be charity home?" But Anna would just smile and say, "Feeding one man will not kill my business." Some mocked her. Others shook their heads. But she didn't stop. She fed Papa Jojo every day like he was a paying customer. She even added meat to his rice sometimes, even when she couldn't afford meat for herself. What she didn't know was this. Papa Jojo was watching, not just with his eyes, but with his heart. One Tuesday morning, the sky looked like rain, and Anna was halfway through cooking when a tall man in a sharp black suit approached her stall. He didn't quite fit in. His shoes were too clean, his shirt too white, and his scent, lemon, and wealth cut through the oily air of the street. "Good morning," he said in a low voice. "1 plate of rice and beans." Anna, used to all types of people, greeted him warmly. "You're welcome, sir. I hope you're hungry." He smiled but said little else. He sat at one of the shaky benches under the mango tree and quietly ate. Papa Jojo was there too, sitting at his usual spot. Anna noticed that the man in the black suit glanced at him briefly, just a flicker of eye contact, but said nothing. They didn't speak, didn't nod, didn't acknowledge each other. But Anna felt something strange. It happened again the next day. The same man, same seat, same silence between him and Papa Jojo. Days turned into weeks. Sometimes, Another woman in a neat dress would come, or a young man with dark glasses. Different faces, but the same thing. They would eat, sit near Papa Jojo, and say nothing. To Anna, they were just customers. To Papa Jojo, they were spies. Because Papa Jojo wasn't who he claimed to be. He wasn't poor. He wasn't helpless. He was Joseph Adebayo, CEO of Brideswood Group, owner of 5-star hotels across Nigeria, investor in real estate, oil, and fashion. A billionaire in disguise. And why was he pretending to be a crippled beggar? Simple. He was tired. Tired of fake people. Tired of greedy children who only cared about his inheritance. Tired of being surrounded by liars. So he decided to test the world, to see if there were still honest, kind hearts left. And Anna passed every test. Then, one morning, Papa Jojo didn't come. Anna waited. She looked at the empty space under the mango tree. Her eyes scanned every corner of the street. Nothing. Where's Papa Jojo? She asked a few customers. No idea. Maybe he fell sick. Maybe he died. Anna's heart squeezed. She didn't know why, but his absence felt heavy, like something was missing from her day, her life. Days passed. No sign of him. Then, one hot Thursday afternoon, as Anna wiped sweat from her forehead and stirred her pot, a black SUV rolled to a stop in front of her stall. It was shiny and silent. The kind of car that didn't belong in her street. A man in a dark suit stepped out, walked straight to her, and handed her a white envelope. For you, he said. Anna blinked. Me. The envelope had golden print on the edge, Brideswood Hotel and Suites. Her hands trembled as she opened it. A letter. An invitation. To Miss Anna Okafor. You are invited to a special meeting at Brideswood Hotel, Victoria Island. She read it again.
Happy Hi Bestie. If you enjoyed this story so far, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment where you are watching from. Enjoy!
And again, people gathered. Her neighbors, curious, leaned in to see. Huh, Anna, which big man send you this kind letter? She day cook well, maybe not catering work. But Anna was speechless. Her heart pounded like a talking drum. She didn't know what was waiting for her at that hotel. But she would go. Even if her slippers were torn and her dress had holes. She would go. The day Anna went to Brideswood Hotel, the sun seemed to shine differently. As if it knew something big was about to happen. She stood outside the grand glass doors for nearly 10 minutes, staring at her reflection. Her patched dress, faded at the waist. Her scarf, tied neatly but old. Her slippers, almost flat from years of walking. She didn't belong here. Tall men in suits passed her. Women in heels and bright lipstick looked at her as though she was lost. One receptionist, with glossy nails and a stiff smile, finally asked, "Are you looking for someone?" Anna nodded shyly and held out the letter with both hands like it was sacred. The receptionist took one look, blinked, then stood up straighter. "One moment, please." A second later, a man in a navy suit approached. He smelled of expensive cologne and spoke softly. "Miss Anna, follow me, please." She followed. Into the elevator. It was her first time in such a machine. As the doors closed and the lights blinked above, Anna pressed herself to the wall, eyes wide. Her heart beat fast. "Omo," she whispered, holding the rail tightly. "Make this tin no carry me go heaven." The man chuckled quietly, but said nothing. Ding! The doors opened. They stepped into a hallway with soft carpets and golden lights. Then, he stopped in front of a wide door, turned the knob, and gestured for her to enter. Anna walked in and froze. There he was, Papa Jojo. But he wasn't crippled. He stood tall, dressed in a clean, cream-colored caftan, his gray beard trimmed, his skin glowing like the moon. "Jesus," Anna gasped. What is this? Are you? But I thought you were He smiled gently. "Sit, my daughter." She sat, still trembling. "I'm sorry for the trick," he said. "My real name is Joseph Adebayo. I own this hotel, and the one next to it, and 10 others around the country." Anna's mouth opened, but no words came. "I pretended to be poor to see how people would treat me," he continued. "And you treated me like a human being, with dignity, with kindness. You fed me when others mocked you for it." Tears filled her eyes. "I thought you were just hungry," she whispered. "I was," he said, "but not for food, for truth." Anna wiped her face with the back of her hand. Joseph walked toward a table and picked up a folder. He handed it to her. "This is your new beginning." Inside the folder were papers, documents, a contract, a full offer. To manage a brand new hotel still under construction in Acadia. To be in charge. To be seen. Why me? She asked, voice shaking. Because you didn't just feed me, he replied. You showed me what humanity should look like. You cooked with your hands, but served with your heart. Anna sobbed. Not the loud kind, but the kind that comes from years of hiding, suffering, struggling. The kind of tears you cry when life finally turns to face you with mercy. He handed her a second envelope. A car will be delivered to your home. We'll help you expand your food business. You'll begin training with our top staff next week. She covered her mouth. I don't know what to say, she whispered. Say you'll come, he smiled. And that you won't stop being the woman who gave a crippled beggar her best food. Anna stood, slowly, and hugged him. For the first time in years, she felt safe. But while all this was happening, someone else had been watching. He always sat at the corner of her food stall. Quiet, observant, respectful. The man in the black suit. His name was Teo Adebayo, Joseph's only son. And he had watched Anna closely from the very first day. She handed his father a plate of hot yam porridge without asking for money. He had watched her laugh with her customers, stretch herself thin, stand under the rain with a big umbrella just to keep the food dry. He saw how she wiped tears in secret when business was low, yet still fed a stranger. Teo had seen many women. In hotels, in events, in boardrooms, but none like Anna. He tried not to fall, told himself she was just a test, just another part of his father's plan. But love doesn't ask for permission. He started ordering food just to see her smile, started sitting closer, started praying she would notice him not just as a customer, but as a man. Yet, she never suspected anything. Until now. 3 days after the hotel meeting, a car was parked in front of Anna's shop. Brand new, shiny, black. The keys were in her hand, and she didn't know what to do with them. The whole neighborhood gathered. Anna donned blow. Oh, not car be this. From food seller to madam. She just smiled and said, not God. But inside her room that night, she sat on the floor and stared at the ceiling. Why me, God? She whispered. Why now? There was a knock at her door. She opened it. It was him, Teo, still in that familiar black suit. He smiled awkwardly, holding a small white box. I just wanted to say congratulations, he said. And thank you for being who you are. She nodded, unsure. He handed her the box. Inside was a gold bracelet, thin and simple. For good luck, he said, turning to go. But before he left, he paused and added, my name's not just Teo. I'm Joseph's son. Anna blinked. Wait, what? I was the man who came to eat every day. The one who never said much. I saw everything. And I fell for you, Anna. Quietly. She stared, frozen. I know it's a lot, he said, stepping back. Just think about it. And he walked away, leaving her standing in the doorway with her heart pounding in her chest. In the weeks that followed, Anna's life changed. She moved into a better apartment, started training with real chefs, learned how to manage staff, track orders, create menus. She wore uniforms now. She held meetings. Her name, Madam Anna, began to spread. But her heart? Still caught between wonder and worry. She liked Teo. She really did. But he was the son of a billionaire. And she was just a girl from the roadside. Could she ever fit into his world? Would people accept her? Would he still love her when the spotlight faded? She didn't have all the answers. But she had one promise, to stay true to herself. Always. One evening, as she was preparing to close the hotel kitchen, Joseph called her urgently. Come to my office, he said. She walked in and saw his face, pale. What's wrong, sir? He slid a paper across the table. It was a headline. Food seller from the streets becomes manager after secret relationship with billionaire's son. Anna's heart dropped. What? I never. Someone leaked your story, he said gently, and twisted it. Pictures of her food stall, her car, even a blurry shot of her and Teo at the roadside. Her enemies had found a way in, and now the world was watching, judging, mocking. The next morning, Anna couldn't breathe. Not because the air was thin, but because her name was everywhere. On social media, on blogs, on WhatsApp statuses, everywhere. Photos of her food stall under the mango tree, close-ups of her patched dress, side-by-side shots with the headline. From poverty to privilege, how a street girl cooked her way into a billionaire's heart. Some people praised her. Others mocked her. Some said she was smart. Others said she was a gold digger. Even people who had once eaten from her stall began to whisper, She don't use since catch big fish. I talk him say that cripple man no normal. One blogger even wrote, she used food to buy a future. Clap for her. Real life Cinderella, Nigerian version. Anna was crushed, not because she was ashamed of her past, but because they turned her kindness into something dirty. She switched off her phone and didn't leave her apartment for 2 days. Not even to open her new restaurant. Then came the knock. 3 gentle taps. She opened the door slowly, and there stood Teo, hair a little messy, eyes a little red, holding a bag of jollof rice and fried plantain. I figured you haven't eaten, he said. She stepped aside. They sat on the floor, plates between them, eating silently like 2 strangers who used to be friends. Then she spoke. Why didn't you warn me? He looked at her. I didn't know it would happen this fast. They think I trapped you. He shook his head. Let them talk. But it's affecting your family name. And what about you? He asked gently. You built your name from scratch. Every grain of rice, every spoon of stew, you earned it. Don't let one foolish headline break what you've built. She wanted to believe him. But doubt is louder than comfort sometimes. Still, Teo reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. A key. This is to a small place in Lekki. Not too fancy, not too loud. Just for you. In case you need space. Anna stared at the key, and the man offering it. This wasn't just a gift. It was a choice. Anna didn't take the key. Not that day. Instead, she returned to her stall under the mango tree. Yes, the hotel had started training her staff. Yes, she was now wearing heels instead of slippers. But she needed to feel the ground again. Needed to smell smoke from firewood. Needed to touch the place where it all began. She swept the floor with her old broom. Lit her old stove. Cooked beans, rice, and yam porridge. Then sat down and waited. Nobody came. At first. Then one old customer, Baba Sunday, limped over.
Hi, bestie. Kunyafu hivi kumyeshawa uruang. If you enjoyed the story so far, don't forget to like and subscribe for part 2. Comment where you are watching from and I will reply with my favorite emoji. Thank you.